starting the day in a burned area, obviously. I think the majority of the day is just going to be kind of spent rolling through little forested hills. But as I've mentioned before, we're going to be in Wyoming tonight. We're only 28 miles or so from the border right now, border with that state. So that's mostly the focus of the day. If you want to know what the monotony of a through hike like this is like, truly, when you're in the middle of it, it's the little things that excite you. Clover usually doesn't move very fast in the morning. I'm usually ahead of him at this point, but he is skipping and dancing down trail because 7 miles away there's a pit toilet, and I think that's the highlight of his day. So yeah, the view of behind us where we're leaving, some of the last mountains in Colorado. One of the things I find the most interesting about doing these ultra long distance hikes is that you can kind of get a sense for the macro trends of the landscape much better than you could otherwise. Moving in a car, it's much too fast, but I can tell just over the last few days north of Steamboat that the area has just been slowly getting drier, and I know what that really signals is that we're moving our way slowly into what's going to be the Great Divide Basin, which, if you're not aware, is only really accurately described as a 200-mile wide frying pan, not a single tree, really flat. Basically, it's just like an area where the water never drains outwards, and so it pulled the salt out of the mountainsides into this big basin over the last few million years, so not much grows. It's just really an inhospitable place and feels like a dry steppe, like it's in Mongolia or something. So that should be fun. For now, though, we still have some semblance of a forested environment. Still a little moist here, I guess humidity-wise. But it won't last. The trade-off is, at least in the basin, it's going to be incredibly flat and easy hiking. We'll have to carry a lot of water, but elevation-wise, it's going to be about the easiest stretch on this entire trail. Clover must really hate Colorado. It's over 20 miles today before I've caught up with him. He really wants to get out of the state. I mean, look at this gait. He's walking like Hobbit, or like he never really quite found that privy earlier. Fascinating. That view in the distance there is into Wyoming, not Colorado anymore. We're like 1 mile out from the border, and I can officially say this is the hottest day in Colorado.
Yeah.
We got to Colorado. I don't think I can remember a single day where it was kind of like hot until today, and today it's very hot. And I feel like that bodes a certain way for Wyoming. We're gonna fry out there, man.
Yeah, it's a bad omen. Looking forward to it. Should be great.
He was talking about we were going to get hit with a snowstorm before leaving Colorado, and I think it's a little late for that, but maybe this is some kind of karmic stuff coming around full circle to bite you in the ass for saying that shit.
Probably.
Yeah. All these lupines here have been gorgeous too. There's tons of them in all these saddles and everything. There it is. So Clover and I have now officially walked unbroken footsteps across New Mexico and Colorado, and he's got the additional added achievement in Colorado of not interacting with a single woman and thus not causing any public discomfort, which everybody give him a hand. Impressive.
Hey, fuck you.
Somebody spent the time here to make an entire mosaic out of rocks with the state border and everything. This entire starting area of Wyoming is basically clear cut here. I actually did a pretty good portion of the PCT with a guy who had gone to school for forestry and worked for the Forest Service. He was telling me some pretty interesting things about clear cutting to make it seem like it's not as clear cut, no pun intended, as far as how bad or good it is actually. You know, lumber has to come from somewhere, so trees have to be cut. But, you know, a lot of people say, you know, just killing every single tree in the forest is horrible. But the alternative would be bringing heavy machinery in and selectively picking trees out and driving over the roots of all the other ones. And some people would argue it basically kills just as many trees, if not more, than clear cutting does. And another thing about that is people kind of select for the largest trees because they want to have the best yield for their lumber products. But the biggest trees aren't always, you know, the oldest. Sometimes they're just genetically better trees. So it kind of selects for smaller trees. I can see it either way, I guess. Immediately, Wyoming has brought the whole the trail doesn't exist concept to an entirely new echelon, actually. Like, this quite legitimately is supposed to be the trail. I guess there's some assemblage of something here. We've made it to camp tonight, our first night in Wyoming, with an hour of sunlight to spare. Only went a whole 35.7 miles today. It's the largest day on trail so far.
Only 35?
30, almost 36. It's the dustiest place I've ever seen in my life. Look at this dirt line on my leg. I've got a tan above my shoes, obviously, but this is something else. Both feet are disgusting. Good thing I've got them right next to my cook set. This is how you build an immune system, people. We're gonna enjoy our well-deserved dinners, I think, but we've only got about 14 miles to go until town tomorrow. And I think we're gonna catch a lot of people. We will see, though. We joked yesterday about how we crossed into Wyoming. Wow, it's so different. But in some ways, actually, it is different. I'm kind of surprised, but as soon as we crossed the border, the geology kind of changed. There's a lot more of this pink kind of granite in boulder fields and things along those lines. We were in a transition zone, though, like I'd mentioned, so things are expected to change. I'm at the place to hitch into Encampment, and I feel like I'm on some sort of virtual reality server where the only vehicles that exist are side-by-sides and four-wheelers, because every vehicle that's driven by is one of those. It's like people don't own cars here or something. It's gonna make it pretty hard to hitch, I think, unfortunately.